Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth with Eden and Kim, shifting you into higher consciousness, the show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, special interviews with inspiring guests, intuitive readings, channeled messages from beyond, including celebrities, hot topics to expand your awareness, and time for questions from the audience. Tune in for unprecedented truth, authenticity, on-purpose discussions, and magical moments.
Almost 10 years, feels longer, and we're just total Libra soul sisters, and just love her so much. We've done so many events and gone to so many things together and hung out personally as well as professionally. And she has done, she'll tell you, she's done a multitude of things, including yoga teacher, and she does angel readings and a coach and an author. And now she leads Real Estate Investor Goddesses, which is a global company that helps women, which is great because this month is International Women's Month and Women's Day. And so it's just extra meaningful. And I've been able to MC and host several of her really large events with these remarkable people from all over the world that attend. So welcome, Monick.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I love this topic. This is my favorite.
That's awesome. So Monick, tell us your story. How did you get started as an author, speaker, real estate expert?
Yeah. A series of happy accidents. I did not grow up thinking at all that I would do that. I had super wonderful, supportive parents like Kim. She has amazing parents, and I too have amazing parents that I love. And they were always saying, Monick, you can be anything you want. And but in parentheses, as long as you're a doctor, lawyer, professor, or engineer, because for them, that's what they thought of as success.
Yeah.
And so of those choices, I chose law. I became a lawyer. Was miserable as a lawyer. Hated it. Even though I was working in a big law firm, partnership track, 6-figure income, nice car, oceanfront apartment. I had all the trappings on the outside of a very successful life, but I was so unhappy. And I just give you a brief example of how unhappy. At one point, I remember it was a Tuesday morning. I found myself in the ER, and when the doctor told me my appendix had ruptured, and I would have at least 9 days or at least several days in the hospital. I ended up being there for 9 days, and then it said at least 30 days at home to recover. My first thought when he told me that was, oh, thank God I don't have to go to work for at least 30 days.
Wow.
I felt like I'd won a vacation from hell. So I was just like, oh my gosh, and then I realized, wow, I was like, I've done, everything right, but I need a new, this is literally killing me, so I need to find a new path. And there was a lot of experimentation and trying to find that, but as part of that journey, I did get connected to law of attraction and Abraham, and focusing on how you feel, and that focus has taken me on this super unexpected journey. So I did not know at all that I would write books or I'd be a speaker or I'd create this business to help women. But I ended up becoming, I fell into real estate first to just be able to afford my own house, and I got a property where I could have tenants, and they were helping to pay the mortgage. They were paying the mortgage, and then I met my husband, and he had rental properties, and we started flipping. And then I learned about bringing groups of investors together, and then we started doing apartment buildings and bigger projects, and now we have over 1,300 rental doors across
Oh my
10
God.
states. Wow. Yeah. So it's been pretty crazy, but I feel like manifestation and has been a big part of that process for me, and just bringing it in with relative ease, and not that there wasn't effort for me to take, but it's just right people show up, different opportunities come, and that's how I got led here. In fact, I can thank Kim for I feel like Kim, you're a big part of like, connecting me to how I got here because you introduced me to Kyle Wilson. And Kyle Wilson introduced me to Robert Helms, who would then become my mentor. And he's the one that taught me and told me that you could bring groups of investors together to purchase properties. And then I went from, working with Robert Helms. And in that first year that I started working with him, I met him. I went from 2 doors to over 1,000, just in that 1 year.
Wow.
Doing this, this process. So
That's amazing.
I was like, so thanks, Kim.
Oh my God. Well,
Does she get any benefit from?
I love the way connecting works because then if you think about that, Justine Arian, our friend, is how I met you. I met her because of Facebook, and somehow we connected on Facebook. We don't even know.
But listen to this, how I met Justine, who connected you and I. I met her through her brother, who was my law school roommate. So if I hadn't have gone to law school, even though I hated being a lawyer,
oh my God,
I wouldn't be here. Right? So it's just like, it's all goes full circle.
I know. I know. It's so crazy. So I love how that all works. And that's all part of the manifestation. So I love that we're diving into that. You are such an expert at teaching women how to manifest their visions and dreams, men and women. But I know you're the goddess of investor goddesses. How are some ways to do this, and what type of mindset is key?
That's so good. So generally with law of attraction, as I've come to know it and practiced it, it's really about the emotional and vibrational state that you're showing up. So where you're vibrating, if you're vibrating at high vibration, you're going to manifest high vibrational things. And if you're vibrating at a low vibration and emotionally low, right? So you're going to manifest more things that feel like that. So if you're in anger, you tend to find more things that make you angry. If you're in grief, you find more things that keep you in grief or sadness. If you're in guilt and shame, same with that. But also, if you're in joy, you find there are more things that come that bring you joy. Peace, more things that kind of bring you peace. Love, gratitude. And the beautiful thing is that we have control over our vibrational state. So I remember when I first learned this, I was 20, I was in college, and a friend of my roommates came over, and he was talking about neuro-linguistic programming I just learned about, and he taught me this process. He basically taught me that. It's like just because something happens on the outside doesn't mean you have to react to it. You can choose how you react emotionally. And I was like, oh, but that was such a paradigm shift for me and I think for a lot of people, just assume if something happens, like, well, that guy made me angry, like, cut me off on the like that, and like, well, yeah, maybe somebody cuts you off, or not even cut you off. They drive in front of you quickly, right? And then so you could get really angry and upset, or you could be, wow, that was a close call. I'm really grateful that we're all safe, right? Or you could be in peace. You go, wow, he must really have some place to go. Maybe he's like rushing to a hospital for somebody, right? You never know. But you could get into a place where you're like, and you're enraged and you're upset and you're frustrated, but you're just going to create more of that. Or the same situation can happen. You can have a completely different, emotional reaction to it, but you can choose. So part of manifesting, what I do is I really get into this emotional. I try to start my day and I meditate, and I have an orgasmic manifestation practice that I do with my husband.
Tell us all about it.
So being in orgasm is actually your most attractive state, and it's attractive not in terms of good looking so much as attractive in terms of law of attraction. When you're in that state, you're very attractive to what you want. So it was taught a while back, like, in that state, if you put in your desire or do it for your partner, then you're putting this seed into this like most fertile of soil. And so never waste an orgasm. You learn nothing from that. It's like always, if you're in one, just like, so my husband, we have a 7 a.m. date in bed every morning, and
You did not have to tell us that.
I know it's TMI maybe, but this is how I have literally orgasmed my way to over 1,300 doors. So, but what we do though is like an orgasm, the other one will say like $10 million or something, right? So we use that state, that emotional state, in order to manifest. When you're dealing with money, do not deal with money like upset with your creditor. Like you get bills and you're like, and you're frustrated and you're like upset. Make sure you're in a really positive state before you like feel gratitude for anybody who's given you services, or like a credit card company, they've lent you money. That's a service they've given you. Anything, like you come to your bills, you show up with gratitude, with joy, with like peace, then you're gonna have a very joyful, peaceful relationship with money that gives you more to feel grateful for. So like really like be intentional with how you show up to different things emotionally, especially money. For anybody who's having issues with money, make sure when you show up to deal with money, it's from a high vibrational place. So that emotional piece is one of the things that I make a big point myself to do whenever I have anything with my real estate investor goddesses. Before, like at the beginning of all of our gatherings, we do stuff to bring up our state. We'll dance. We do. We'll share gratitude. We'll share brags and celebrations. We do this like breathing exercise to bring our state up. I do all of this stuff to get the state as high as possible, because from there everything else will proceed in a high vibration. So get yourself emotionally up. And then we were talking about vision boards. So another thing is if you can see it in your brain, and then you're seeing what you want to create, and then you get into that emotional state of what it will feel like, and that's a very powerful way to manifest too. So you can use vision boards or vision boxes, something as Kim was saying, and see it. So it's there reminding you, these digital vision boards. But I also spend every morning I do meditation, and I am spending time in my ideal future, in this future where I want to be, and I'm really in the feeling place of what I feel like. So I'm in it, and it's feeling joy, and I'm feeling love, and I'm having fun, and I'm spending time every day there. And then I kind of let it go, but these things show up. So one of the things that I keep getting, pings about, intuitive pings, is that because I have my big, hairy, audacious goal, my mission is to help 1 million women create financial freedom through real estate investing. And I kept getting, TV, have a TV show where you're on, and then you can touch millions that way, right? Then you can have that scale. Yeah. No idea how to do it, but I kept getting this ping. And so for the past couple weeks, I've been in the morning, I'm just seeing myself getting ready to go on set and to the show, and I'm excited, and I have my wardrobe and hair people, and I'm really in this really happy place about it, and I'm reading a letter from a fan that's oh my gosh, I'm financially free because I saw your show, and I'm I'm in it. And then out of the blue, I got an email on Friday. It's hi, I'm putting together this TV show, and I was thinking, do you want to talk about being our featured real estate expert on this show? We spoke on Monday. It's still beginning, but it was that, it just came out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
That's amazing.
So exciting. So I think you kind of went over this a little bit, but how do we use the law of attraction the right way? And are there any extra things that we have to be extra careful about or attentive to?
Yeah. So I think one of the ways it's really powerful to use it is not to be so tight on the how things show up. So I'll give you this. I want to share the story that I heard. And so there was a an experiment done on these sets of seeds. So there are 3 seeds, and the first set, the control set, took these seeds, they planted it in the soil, fertile soil, or fertilized it, watered it, gave it sunshine, all the things that on a physical level you're meant to do to help seeds grow. So that was the control set. The second set, they were doing that too, but they had a group of people of like all different backgrounds, whatever. They had this group of people focused on that set of seeds and visualizing that set of seeds growing well. So they had every day they would spend some time like visualizing it, like those seeds growing abundantly. And then the third set of seeds, they had a group of people, different backgrounds, different faiths, and they would think about those seeds, and they said, "Thy will be done." That's it. Thy will be done. So that was the third set of seeds. So the first set of seeds, they grew well, they had everything. But the second set of seeds grew even more, the ones where they were visualizing. The ones that grew the most was the third set, where all they said was, "Thy will be done." They allowed the divine, they allowed higher power to allow the best outcome. So for ourselves and in our lives, right, we can visualize things, but I think that higher power often has something even better in store for us. So it's important that we, whatever we're seeing or visualizing or wanting to manifest, we say this or better, as in it's in my highest and best good and the highest and best good of the entire universe. So you're kind of open, you have this like, what's important is how the feeling of it. So you want it to feel joyful, you want it to feel like love and peace and all those wonderful things that you want to feel. But the how it comes will often come in ways that will surprise and delight you. So maybe I'm not going to be on a TV show at all. I don't know. But like all I know is like I have this desire to help million plus, and but it's going to show up in a way that feels really good and feels fun and where I can be of service and I'm like in this love vibration. But the how, so I think with law of attraction and all of it is really important. It's not just to have like such a strict, like it needs to come this, like it needs to be this and it needs to come this way, but be really open as to how it shows up. Because you can I think higher power can often be like, hey, look here, I have what the essence of what you want, actually even better. It just doesn't look like you think it's gonna look. And so it's knocking on the door like, hey, like, here's what you wanted. And you're like, no, it's going to come from that angle. And it's going to look like this. And so you're like looking for the specific package at that door. And you're looking out the window like, it's not coming. Where is it? And it's like they're knocking at the door going, here it is. It's even better. So that's what's important to remember.
Yeah. And I think if we, go back on our whole timeline of everything we've accomplished, and not every single thing, but just like what are the main things throughout my whole life that I've accomplished, what stands out to me, then you'll see ways that you've manifested things that you wanted and how things had to happen to get that other next thing to manifest, kind of like what you were saying earlier, Monique. And so I think that's another way for us to remind ourselves that it does work, that, what are the times that we've manifested, what state were we in? Or where were we at when we were making that vision board? And did we look at it regularly and have a belief in it? Things like that, I think, also make a difference.
Yeah. There's one last.
So one question, putting it out there, like visualizing, but then letting go of it. Sort of not having an attachment to it.
Yes.
Is that what you mean? Okay.
Yeah. One other thing, though, that's important to remember. Oftentimes it will show up, there's this concept I call driftwood. So, when sailors were out to sea for a long time, before they would see land, they would start seeing signs of land, like driftwood and birds, right? So when you're manifesting, often what you'll see is driftwood. It's not exactly it. It's not exactly what you think it is, but it's a sign that you're on the right path. But a lot of times people will see the driftwood and they'll be like, what's this? I wanted that. That's not what I want. Like, it didn't work. It's not working.
Discouraged.
And so you get discouraged because it's not that thing, but it's actually driftwood. So I was just telling you about, I got this, random out of the blue email from from a producer. Well, it wasn't the first one. Actually, a couple weeks before, I got another random out of the blue email from a producer, and I was like, "Wow, that's so cool and amazing." And then that guy kind of ghosted me. Like at first, it was like, "Okay, yeah, send me the treatment," and then I didn't. Then he just ghosted. So I could have been like, it's not working, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, shoot, like, no, you know, it's not gonna, like, this guy disappears, never going to work out. It's like, no, amazing driftwood. That's amazing driftwood, right? And like, that's so good. I'm on the right path. This wasn't the guy, but that doesn't mean I'm not meant to do this. It's just like, I think that's a good sign, right? Like
someone was interested. Yes.
Yeah. Amen. Like, and then it happened again. So this person that I spoke to, she has like ghost who's there, but maybe that's driftwood. So it's either this or better. So that's also my mantra.
I love that.
This or better. This or better. So if it's if it's not this thing that's showing up, if it doesn't work out, it's not because it's not working out. It's because the universe is something even better waiting for you.
Yeah, divine timing. It's worth the wait.
Yeah. Enjoy the driftwood. Get excited by the driftwood. Like, yeah, I'm on the right path. Yes.
Yes. Yes. The signs. I know. Trust the signs. I know you're big on creative self-expression and finding ways to find joy and happiness in simple things like cleaning the house or paying your bills and things like that. So how can we use our creative self-expression and also find the joy in the simple moments of life?
Yeah. So pleasure is a really great path to manifesting. So making things feel good. You know, you want to get in that high vibration. So sometimes you have to do the dishes. It might not be something you love doing, but add your favorite music, put on a tiara, like start to dance, like invite people to your family to come with you and you're doing it together. Bring friends. So there's a way that you can take what you're doing and make it feel good. I don't like commuting, but sometimes I would be commuting to things and put in a great audiobook or something that I'm learning from or listen to my favorite music and you know kind of enjoy enjoy where you're at. So find ways to layer on pleasure so that things feel good, because the more we feel good, the more things are going to come into our life that feel good.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay. And what are some great ways to attract and manifest wealth in 2021?
Yeah. So I said one before. Show up to your money pleasurably and pleasured. Don't show up to your money in a upset, frustrated, ungrateful state. You will get more of that to keep you upset, frustrated, ungrateful. So show up to your money very pleasurably. Spend the things I've talked about. Spend time getting yourself in a high vibrational state, just in general, and stay there. You're going to manifest more that will allow that. And then it's important. This might be a whole other conversation, to get to the place where you're clearing emotional blocks to finances, because we have a lot of times deep in our subconscious we have created these very deep beliefs that contradict. You say that you want more money, but then you have this like a very deep subconscious belief that will block you from having it. I'll give you an example. So in my household growing up, when it was time to pay bills, when money was having it was a fight between my parents. Like there was screaming, there was like it was not a very pleasant time. And as a little girl, for me, it was scary. Like it was a lot of like anger and upset around money. So I created this belief in my head that money is very stressful to deal with. And so I did not want to deal with it. So I was okay to bring it in, but as soon as it came in, I was like, I would either spend it all, I would ignore it, like bills would come in, I was like, la la la, I don't see it, like until like another bill's like overdue. It's not that I didn't have the money to pay for it, it just was like not dealing with it because I was like, ooh, it's stressful, and like that makes people angry, and that's not safe, and so I had all this like very deep stuff about it, and I had to clean that up so that I could, accept it in, hold it, save it, grow it, deal with it masterfully, and then feel really good about having it. But I had to get conscious of that was there. So conscious of the limiting beliefs. So if you have any beliefs that having money will make you, like, wealthy people are in some way bad or greedy or selfish or evil, money is evil, the money is the root of all evil, because we would rather not have money than be bad, evil, like unlovable, unworthy, right?
For more information on Eden, go to edensustin.com. For more information on Kim, go to kimlifecoach.com. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Talk Purpose and Truth Podcast. If you loved this episode, you'll love every episode. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for listening.